Ladies and gentlemen, today we celebrate a journey defined not by comfort, but by courage, the extraordinary rise of a man who refused to stop when life demanded otherwise. This is the story of Joe Ranga, the man who turned challenges into fuel and dreams into destiny. From humble beginnings to remarkable achievements, Joe Ranga's journey proves one thing: being unstoppable is not a talent, it is a choice. A choice to stand tall when the world pushes you down. A choice to keep moving when the road gets steep. A choice to believe in your purpose even when no one else can see it. Joe Ranga faced failures, setbacks, doubts, and battles that would break the average man. But instead of breaking, he built himself. Instead of retreating, he rose. Instead of complaining, he created opportunities. Every obstacle became a stepping stone. Every criticism became a motivation. Every no became a louder yes within his heart. What makes Joe truly unstoppable is not just his victories. It's his discipline, his mindset, his hunger to grow, and his refusal to settle. He lives by a simple code. If you cannot find a path, you carve one. Today his journey inspires thousands. His resilience lights the way for those walking through darkness. His leadership creates hope for those who have forgotten their own strength. Let this speech remind us. We all have a warrior inside us. We all have the power to rise. We all have an unstoppable version of ourselves waiting to be unleashed. So stand up. Push forward. Believe fiercely. Be bold. Be resilient. Be unstoppable. Just like Joe Ranga. Resilience is the foundation of Joe Ranga's unstoppable journey. His life is a reminder that circumstances may shape us, but they do not define us unless we allow them to. From the beginning, Joe faced challenges that could have easily discouraged him. Limited resources, unexpected setbacks, moments of isolation, and periods where progress felt painfully slow. Yet he refused to accept defeat as a permanent condition. Instead, he transformed every hardship into a lesson, every obstacle into a stepping stone, and every struggle into a source of hidden strength. Joe understood something powerful. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, it is about rising through them. Whenever life pushed him back, he pushed forward harder. When plans failed, he rebuilt them stronger. When people doubted him, he used their doubt as motivation to sharpen his purpose. He learned to absorb pressure without breaking, to endure storms without losing direction, and to continue moving even when the road ahead was unclear. His resilience wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. He developed the habit of analyzing setbacks instead of complaining about them. He reflected on each failure, extracted the lesson, and adjusted his approach with determination. Whether it was financial challenges, personal sacrifices, or moments where he felt alone in his mission, Joe consistently chose perseverance over surrender. What makes his resilience remarkable is that it wasn't driven by luck or external support. It was built by discipline, self-belief, and an unshakable commitment to his vision. He became the kind of person who doesn't wait for easy paths. He becomes stronger for the difficult ones. His journey shows us that resilience is a skill, one that grows every time we decide to keep moving, even when everything around us tries to hold us back. One of the most defining qualities of Joe Ranga's rise is his extraordinary ability to transform failures into fuel for greatness. Instead of seeing failure as a sign to stop, he saw it as a signal to learn, adapt, and come back stronger. Every time life pushed him down, he treated the moment not as a final defeat but as valuable feedback, a chance to refine his strategy, strengthen his mindset, and sharpen his purpose. Joe understood that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a crucial part of the journey toward it. Where many people allow setbacks to drain their confidence, Joe used them to ignite his hunger. When people laughed, criticized, or doubted him, he didn't internalize their negativity, he converted it into motivation. When a plan collapsed, he didn't walk away, he rebuilt it with more precision and deeper insight. He treated each failure as a mirror, reflecting not his weaknesses but the areas where he could grow. He studied his mistakes with honesty, not ego. He accepted responsibility instead of making excuses. He chose to respond with action rather than emotion. This discipline allowed him to come back from every setback with double the determination and triple the clarity. Joe's philosophy was simple yet powerful. Failure does not break you unless you let it stop you. Instead of fearing defeat, he embraced it as a training ground. Each disappointment strengthened his mental armor. Each wrong turn prepared him for the right direction. Each closed door pushed him to build one of his own. This relentless mindset didn't just help him overcome obstacles. It turned him into a force that could not be discouraged. Because once a person learns how to turn failure into fuel, nothing can truly hold them back. Discipline is the silent engine behind Joe Ranga's unstoppable momentum. the force that keeps him moving long after excitement fades, motivation weakens, or challenges intensify. While many people rely on fleeting bursts of inspiration, Joe built his journey on consistent, deliberate action. He understood early that big dreams require daily commitment, not occasional effort. For Joe, discipline was not something he practiced only when it was convenient. It was a non-negotiable part of his identity. He created routines that strengthened his focus, habits that sharpened his mind, and systems that kept him aligned with his goals. Even on the days when he felt tired, uncertain, or discouraged, he refused to break his rhythm. He believed that showing up, even imperfectly, was more powerful than waiting for perfect conditions. His discipline extended beyond physical routines. It shaped his emotional resilience and mental clarity. He trained himself to stay calm under pressure, to respond instead of react, and to maintain control over his thoughts. He practiced patience in moments of frustration and persistence in moments of difficulty. This internal discipline allowed him to think clearly, make smarter decisions, and stay grounded even during setbacks. Joe also disciplined his environment. He chose the people he surrounded himself with carefully, prioritizing those who supported his vision and challenged him to grow. He eliminated distractions, built strong boundaries, and protected his time as fiercely as he protected his goals. He knew that success demands focus, and focus cannot survive in chaos. What makes Joe's discipline remarkable is that it wasn't about perfection. It was about consistency. He didn't try to be great in one day, he tried to be better every day. That steady progress, compounded over time, became the secret behind his unstoppable rise. Discipline turned him from a dreamer into a doer, from a starter into a finisher, and from a hopeful believer into a relentless achiever. One of the most powerful qualities that sets Joe Ranga apart is his refusal to wait for the right moment, the right situation, or the right opportunity. Joe learned early in life that waiting is the fastest way to stay stuck. Instead of hoping for doors to open, he built his own. Instead of depending on luck, he depended on action. Instead of wishing for chances, he created them with courage, strategy, and relentless effort. Joe understood that many people spend their lives waiting for support, waiting for clarity, waiting for approval, waiting for circumstances to become perfect. But he realized that perfection is an illusion and opportunity rarely comes by accident. So he took matters into his own hands. If there was no clear path, he carved one. If there was no platform for him, he built one. If no one believed in him, he believed in himself enough to move forward anyway. His proactive mindset became a catalyst for extraordinary progress. When resources were limited, he improvised. When connections were few, he created relationships through value, respect, and initiative. When others hesitated because of uncertainty, Joe stepped forward with purpose. This ability to act boldly in the face of unknowns became one of his strongest strategic advantages. Joe's approach was not reckless, it was calculated. He observed gaps, identified needs, and positioned himself where solutions were missing. He turned ideas into action long before others even recognized the possibilities. While many waited for someone to hand them a chance, Joe became the one who generated momentum, for himself and for those around him. His mindset also influenced how he viewed challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, he saw them as opportunities disguised in difficult form. A problem was simply a chance to innovate. A rejection was a sign to try a new angle. A delay was a moment to prepare better. This shift in perspective allowed him to thrive in situations where others stepped back. By consistently taking initiative, Joe transformed himself from a participant in life to a creator of his own destiny. His journey proves that success is not given, it is built. And those who dare to create opportunities become unstoppable forces in their own story. Joe Ranga's leadership is defined not by authority or power, but by his extraordinary ability to inspire. He embodies a style of leadership that goes far beyond giving instructions. He leads by example, by presence, and by the strength of his character. People do not follow Joe because they have to, they follow him because they want to. His influence comes from the trust he builds, the passion he shows, and the belief he instills in everyone around him. From the beginning, Joe understood that leadership is not about standing in front, it's about lifting others up. Instead of focusing on control, he focused on empowerment. He looked at people not for who they were at the moment, but for who they could become with guidance, confidence, and encouragement. He recognized talent where others saw flaws. He saw potential where others saw limitations. This ability to see greatness in people made him a leader who could transform ordinary individuals into high-performing teams. Joe inspires through his actions. He works harder than anyone, stays committed even in tough conditions, and carries himself with humility despite his achievements. His discipline sets the tone. His resilience sets the standard. His determination becomes a mirror for others, reminding them of what's possible when you refuse to quit. He never asks from others what he isn't willing to do himself, and this authenticity makes him respected, trusted, and admired. His leadership also emphasizes communication with purpose. Joe listens deeply, speaks with clarity, and encourages open dialogue. He values people's ideas, gives constructive feedback, and ensures that everyone feels heard. Instead of using fear to motivate, he uses belief. Instead of pressure, he uses inspiration. He makes people feel capable of more than they imagined, and that belief alone often becomes the spark for their own success. What sets Joe apart is that he leads with heart as much as he leads with vision. He understands that people perform best when they feel valued, supported, and challenged. He creates environments where growth is expected, mistakes are lessons, and progress is celebrated. His leadership is not just about achieving goals, it's about helping others become stronger, bolder, and more confident versions of themselves. Through his guidance, encouragement, and unwavering belief in the people around him, Joe has become a symbol of what true leadership looks like. A force that inspires others to rise not because they must, but because they believe they can. A defining strength of Joe Ranga's journey is his mastery of the growth mindset, a mental framework that views every experience, challenge, and setback as an opportunity to evolve. Joe never allowed himself to become stagnant or satisfied with what he already knew. Instead, he made lifelong learning a central part of his identity. He understood that true progress requires constant improvement, not occasional effort, and that success belongs to those who continue to grow even when others slow down. From an early stage, Joe realized that talent alone is not enough. Skills can fade, opportunities can shift, and circumstances can change, but a powerful mindset can carry a person through any season. He trained himself to embrace challenges with curiosity rather than fear. When faced with something unfamiliar, he didn't avoid it. He leaned toward it with the desire to understand, learn, and adapt. This mindset allowed him to step into situations where others hesitated, giving him an edge in both personal and professional development. Joe's growth mindset also shaped how he viewed mistakes. Where many people feel discouraged by failure, Joe saw every mistake as a stepping stone. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" he asked, "What can I learn from this?" Each misstep became valuable data that refined his strategies and sharpened his decision-making. This approach helped him avoid repeating the same errors, and it allowed him to improve faster than those who saw failure as a permanent setback. Another powerful aspect of his mindset was his willingness to challenge his own beliefs. He never assumed he knew everything. He sought advice, studied successful people, and welcomed feedback, even when it was uncomfortable. Joe understood that ego is the biggest enemy of growth. By staying humble and open-minded, he unlocked new ideas, new perspectives, and new levels of performance. His commitment to growth extended to his habits. He invested time in reading, learning, observing, asking questions, and experimenting with new approaches. He surrounded himself with people who encouraged progress, not comfort. He pushed himself to expand his skills, upgrade his thinking, and stretch his capabilities. Each day, he aimed to be slightly better than the day before, and this steady improvement compounded into extraordinary results over time. What makes Joe's growth mindset so powerful is that it became his greatest competitive advantage. While others resisted change, he embraced it. While others feared the unknown, he explored it. While others stopped learning after success, he continued to evolve. His ability to stay flexible, adaptable, and hungry for improvement turned obstacles into opportunities and transformed challenges into catalysts for advancement. One of the most defining traits of Joe Ranga's journey is his ability to rise above doubt and criticism, both from the world around him and from within himself. Like anyone striving for greatness, Joe was met with voices that questioned his abilities, undermined his dreams, and tried to persuade him to stay small. But instead of allowing those voices to weaken his spirit, he turned them into reminders of why he had to push even harder. From the beginning, Joe understood a hard truth. The moment you decide to chase something meaningful, the world will test your resolve. People will doubt you not because you can't succeed, but because your ambition threatens their comfort. They will criticize your choices, question your capabilities, and judge your path without understanding the weight you carry. Joe faced all this and more. Yet, he never let external negativity dictate his direction. He learned to separate constructive feedback from destructive commentary. When criticism offered value, he absorbed it humbly, seeing it as a tool for improvement. But when it came from people who did nothing but discourage, he refused to let it enter his mindset. Joe built a mental filter, one that allowed wisdom in and kept negativity out. But the most powerful battle he fought was the one within. He faced moments of doubt like every human does, moments where the path seemed too difficult, where results came slowly, where fear whispered that he might fail. Instead of drowning in these feelings, Joe learned to challenge them. He questioned his doubts rather than letting them control him. He reminded himself of past victories, strengths, values, and the purpose behind his journey. These reminders kept his inner voice aligned with his goals rather than his fears. Joe developed the resilience to stand firm even when others stood against him. He understood that criticism is often a reflection of others' limitations, not his own. And he realized that doubt is not a stop sign. It is a signal to look inward, realign, and keep going. This mindset transformed him into someone who could walk confidently through uncertainty. He learned to trust his instincts, stay committed to his vision, and keep moving even when applause was absent. His ability to rise above judgment, misunderstanding, and skepticism became one of his greatest strengths. A strength that allowed him to build momentum in silence and let his results speak louder than any critic ever could. One of the most powerful qualities that makes Joe Ranga truly unstoppable is his unwavering commitment to a vision far greater than his personal success. Joe never chased achievements just for himself. He pursued a purpose that had the power to uplift others, inspire change, and create a lasting impact. His goals were not limited to what he could gain, but centered on what he could give, what he could build, and what he could leave behind. From the very beginning, Joe understood that having a vision is not enough. You must live for it, sacrifice for it, and protect it. He crafted a purpose so strong that it pulled him forward even during moments of exhaustion or uncertainty. This vision became his North Star, guiding his decisions, strengthening his discipline, and giving him clarity through chaos. His vision was bigger than personal growth. It included empowering people, transforming communities, and breaking barriers that held others back. Joe believed that success becomes meaningful only when it opens doors for others. Because of this, he worked with intention, not impulse. Every step he took was aligned with a long-term picture, not a short-term reward. Joe's commitment to his vision required sacrifice, long hours, difficult choices, and moments where he had to walk alone. But he embraced these sacrifices because he knew that greatness demands dedication beyond comfort. He understood that people with small dreams give up easily, but those with big visions endure storms without losing focus. What makes Joe exceptional is how he carried this vision. He didn't keep it hidden. He shared it boldly, turning it into a source of inspiration for others. His passion ignited passion in those around him. His clarity gave direction to people who felt lost. His determination showed others what was possible when you believe deeply in a cause. He knew that a great vision requires consistency, so he showed up every day even when progress was slow. It requires courage, so he took risks others avoided. It requires patience, so he trusted the process even when results weren't immediate. His commitment became a force that shaped not only his future, but the future of everyone who believed in his mission. Joe's journey proves that when a person commits to something bigger than themselves, they become unstoppable. Because the power of purpose is stronger than fear, stronger than obstacles, and stronger than any challenge that tries to stand in the way. One of the greatest strengths behind Joe Ranga's unstoppable rise is his unwavering consistency, the ability to show up, take action, and push forward regardless of the circumstances. While many people work hard only when they feel motivated or when conditions are perfect, Joe built a routine that did not depend on mood, weather, or convenience. He understood a simple truth: consistency beats intensity, and daily effort builds success faster than occasional perfection. Joe treated every day as a fresh opportunity to improve, to learn, and to take one more step toward his vision. He didn't wait for ideal moments because he knew they rarely come. Instead, he created progress through discipline and follow-through. Even on days filled with pressure, distractions, or setbacks, he chose action over excuses. He believed that the strongest version of a person is built not during easy times, but during moments when commitment is tested. This consistency allowed Joe to build momentum, the kind of unstoppable force that grows stronger with each repeated effort. Small actions compounded into major results. Simple habits evolved into extraordinary achievements. By maintaining steady progress, he avoided the trap of starting over repeatedly, a mistake that holds so many people back. Joe's consistency also came from emotional resilience. He trained himself not to let frustration, disappointment, or uncertainty dictate his behavior. When plans failed, he didn't break his routine. When critics doubted him, he didn't stop showing up. When results took longer than expected, he remained patient and persistent. His emotional stability became a foundation that kept him grounded through every phase of the journey. He also made consistency part of his environment. He structured his day, protected his priorities, and eliminated distractions that could interfere with his progress. Joe understood that success is not achieved by doing everything, it is achieved by doing the right things repeatedly. He focused on the actions that truly moved him forward and ignored the noise that didn't matter. What made his consistency powerful was not just how often he worked, but how he worked, with intention, clarity, and commitment. He approached tasks with focus, not rush. He gave his best effort, not leftover energy. He built habits that strengthened his discipline and routines that supported his goals. Joe's journey proves that consistency is not about being perfect every day, it's about being present every day. It is about showing up even when life feels heavy, working even when results are invisible, and staying committed even when the path is difficult. Through relentless consistency, Joe transformed effort into achievement, dreams into reality, and potential into power. A critical factor that defines Joe Ranga's unstoppable journey is his courage to embrace risk and uncertainty. Unlike many who play it safe or wait for perfect conditions, Joe understood that true growth and extraordinary success lie on the edge of discomfort. He recognized that risk is not something to fear but something to navigate with strategy, preparation, and confidence. From the very beginning, Joe faced situations where the outcomes were unknown and the stakes were high. Investments, career choices, and bold moves often came with no guarantees, yet he refused to let fear paralyze him. He learned that waiting for certainty is the fastest way to mediocrity. Instead, he made calculated decisions, balancing intuition with information, and stepped forward even when the road ahead was unclear. Joe's approach to risk was not reckless bravado, it was deliberate bravery. He evaluated potential rewards against possible setbacks, created contingency plans, and prepared himself to adapt to any situation. He treated uncertainty as a testing ground for his skills, mindset, and resilience, using each challenge to sharpen his ability to think creatively and act decisively under pressure. By embracing risk, Joe unlocked opportunities that others could not see. While many shied away from challenges because they were uncomfortable or unfamiliar, he leaned in knowing that every high-stakes situation carried the potential for breakthrough growth. He became comfortable being uncomfortable, a trait that allowed him to innovate, lead, and achieve what seemed impossible to others. Equally important was Joe's mindset in dealing with failure resulting from risk. Instead of seeing unsuccessful attempts as disasters, he reframed them as learning experiences. Each calculated risk, whether it led to immediate success or temporary setback, expanded his knowledge, built his confidence, and strengthened his decision-making abilities. Failure became a step forward, not a step backward. Joe's courage to face uncertainty also inspired others. His willingness to take bold steps demonstrated that fear is natural, but it does not have to be controlling. People witnessed that risk is not an enemy, it is a pathway to growth and opportunity when approached thoughtfully. Through embracing risk and uncertainty, Joe developed a mindset that transforms challenges into possibilities, fear into action, and hesitation into progress. This fearless approach became a cornerstone of his journey, setting him apart as someone who doesn't wait for opportunities to come but is ready to seize them no matter how unpredictable the path may be. A defining element of Joe Ranga's unstoppable journey is his conscious effort to build a strong personal brand and reputation. He understood early on that in today's world, who you are and what you stand for can open doors that skills alone cannot. Joe didn't just focus on achievements. He focused on how he was perceived, as a person of integrity, reliability, and vision. Joe's personal brand was built on consistency, authenticity, and credibility. Every action he took, every project he completed, and every interaction he had contributed to the image he wanted to cultivate. He knew that people remember actions more than words and trust more than promises. By aligning his behavior with his values, he created a reputation that preceded him, allowing him to influence, inspire, and lead without needing constant validation from others. He also leveraged his visibility to highlight his vision and impact. Whether through public speaking, networking, or mentoring, Joe strategically showcased his work and principles without arrogance. His reputation as a hardworking, disciplined, and innovative individual attracted opportunities, collaborators, and supporters who believed in his mission. Joe treated his brand as a reflection of his commitment to excellence. He was mindful of how he handled challenges, criticism, and setbacks because he knew these moments define character. By demonstrating integrity under pressure, showing resilience in adversity, and staying true to his principles, he strengthened the trust others placed in him. People came to see him not just as a talented individual, but as someone reliable, visionary, and unstoppable. Building his brand also meant investing in relationships. Joe nurtured connections with authenticity, gave value without expecting immediate returns, and consistently demonstrated respect and gratitude. This relational consistency made him not only a leader but a mentor, a partner, and a role model for countless people who aspired to follow his example. Joe's focus on his personal brand and reputation amplified his impact. It allowed him to create influence that went beyond his immediate circle, opening doors for collaborations, larger projects, and platforms where he could multiply his effect. His carefully cultivated reputation became a cornerstone of his unstoppable journey, showing that who you are can sometimes be as powerful as what you achieve. You said. Another key factor behind Joe Ranga's unstoppable success is his ability to cultivate a strong network of support and mentorship. Joe understood that no one achieves greatness entirely alone. While personal effort, discipline, and resilience are essential, surrounding yourself with the right people, those who challenge you, guide you, and believe in your potential, can dramatically accelerate your journey. From early on, Joe prioritized relationships with mentors who had already walked paths similar to the one he aspired to take. He sought wisdom from those with experience, learning not only from their successes but also from their mistakes. By listening, observing, and applying their insights, he gained knowledge that could have taken years to acquire independently. Mentorship gave him perspective, guidance, and accountability, allowing him to make more informed decisions and avoid common pitfalls. Equally important was the network of peers and collaborators he built along the way. Joe invested time in connecting with individuals who shared his values, ambition, and drive. He understood that being surrounded by people with high standards and complementary skills creates an environment of mutual growth. These connections provided not just support, but also opportunities for collaboration, learning, and innovation that expanded his reach and impact. Joe also recognized the importance of giving back within his network. He wasn't merely a receiver of guidance and support. He actively offered help, mentorship, and encouragement to others. By lifting those around him, he strengthened bonds, created loyalty, and fostered a community where collective success was possible. This two-way approach amplified the value of his relationships and reinforced his reputation as someone trustworthy and dependable. Building and maintaining a strong network required intentionality. Joe dedicated time to nurturing relationships, checking in with mentors, supporting peers, and remaining accessible to those seeking guidance. He recognized that networks are not built overnight. They are cultivated through consistency, trust, and genuine engagement. This relational intelligence became a strategic advantage, enabling him to leverage collaboration without compromising his integrity. Through cultivating a network of support and mentorship, Joe created a foundation that allowed him to scale his vision, overcome challenges, and sustain his momentum. The combination of guidance, encouragement, and collaborative energy from his network helped him navigate obstacles, seize opportunities, and expand his influence far beyond what he could achieve alone. A cornerstone of Joe Ranga's unstoppable journey is his unwavering commitment to self-belief. Throughout his path, Joe faced countless moments where doubt, fear, and criticism could have derailed his progress. Yet, he consistently chose to trust in his abilities, his vision, and his capacity to overcome challenges. This deep, internalized belief in himself became a driving force that propelled him forward when external validation was absent. Joe understood that self-belief is not arrogance. It is an informed confidence built on preparation, effort, and persistence. He invested in himself, his skills, mindset, and resilience, so that when difficult situations arose, he could rely on his own competence and judgment. By cultivating self-belief, he created an unshakable foundation that allowed him to take risks, embrace uncertainty, and pursue ambitious goals without hesitation. Beyond skill and knowledge, Joe's self-belief also fueled his courage. When others doubted his vision or questioned his methods, he didn't waver. He knew that belief in oneself is often the first step toward convincing others. His confidence inspired those around him, creating momentum and trust that extended beyond his personal achievements. People gravitated toward his energy because it radiated certainty and determination. Joe also understood the relationship between self-belief and resilience. In moments of failure or setback, it was his unwavering trust in his abilities that prevented discouragement from taking hold. He reminded himself of past successes, the lessons learned from mistakes, and the vision that motivated him. This inner conviction allowed him to persist when the path seemed impossible, reinforcing the principle that belief in oneself often precedes tangible results. Importantly, Joe paired self-belief with humility. He balanced confidence with a willingness to learn, adapt, and receive guidance. He recognized that self-belief is strengthened, not weakened, by openness to growth. This combination of confidence and humility created a powerful dynamic. He moved forward boldly, yet intelligently, learning from every experience while trusting in his capacity to succeed. Through his unwavering commitment to self-belief, Joe Ranga cultivated a mindset that transformed obstacles into opportunities, uncertainty into action, and dreams into reality. This inner strength became the backbone of his journey, ensuring that no challenge, doubt, or external barrier could prevent him from achieving his extraordinary goals. Ladies and gentlemen, the journey of Joe Ranga is not just a story of achievements. It is a blueprint for what is possible when determination meets vision, resilience meets action, and belief meets opportunity. He shows us that no obstacle is too great, no doubt too strong, and no setback too permanent to stop someone who refuses to quit. Let his journey inspire you to rise above your own challenges, to embrace failure as a teacher, and to pursue your vision with relentless commitment. Remember, being unstoppable is not about luck or talent alone. It's about mindset, action, and courage. So take a page from Joe Ranga's extraordinary story, believe fiercely, act boldly, and never, ever stop moving forward. Because within each of us lies the power to become unstoppable, just like Joe Ranga.